but I guess we'll see.
Good news is we haven't started yet, so.
Very good news.
I'll see you in a little bit. Are you going to Tony's?
Yeah.
Hopefully that went through. That didn't.
Okay.
Awesome.
Perfect.
Thank you for that.
Thank
heads
you.
up.
Thank you for the heads up. And we, well.
Well, you guys didn't hear any of that last part, but we'll jump into it real quick. We were just talking about the kickoff's about to start here. We have East Carolina University against the Coastal Carolina men's rugby team club. We are about to kick off here. ECU will be kicking off to Coastal. And yeah.
I mean, I guess we have to read this. My name is Preston Payne. I'll be doing color. Yeah, I guess they didn't get that either.
Yeah, no. I'm Richie. I'm going to be your play-by-play today for the game. We were just ranting on, waiting for the kickoff to start. It seems to be a little bit delayed. We were just talking about players look excited. They look juiced up.
Jerseys look good.
Jerseys look great.
Hang out sponsoring the jerseys, and so they got a little branding there, and they got a little funding for the jerseys too. So.
Yep.
Looks like the ref is.
Ref's talking to some kickoff players right now.
Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. And very good. We are. I thought we were good to go.
I think he's watching clock to make sure that starts at an exact minute.
Here we go.
Kick is up. Caught by Coastal. He's tackled down in a ruck. And a whistle is called. ECU retreats. CCU kicks.
And way out of bounds on that kick from Coastal. Yeah, just ECU quickly kind of jumping on that kickoff and able to kind of retain or get possession there. And this is the one thing about rugby is it is going to be a lot of just defense stalemate in the trenches, trying to just gain ground when you can.
They're looking for a line out right now. Coastal throws it back in play, lifts their player up, but they miss it. Coastal gets the ball, and they start lateraling. And a rough pile-up has started. Coastal got it out. Coastal's now moving the ball, and it's been kicked by Coastal. And it's an in-touch ball, went out of bounds. They are going to line up for another line-out.
I mean, just quickly, Coastal kind of trying to move the ball when they can, and again, it's a lot of in the trenches, moving the ball when you can, and just making sure you don't make mistakes. That's really the name of this game, is making sure that you don't make a mistake to where ECU can capitalize.
Mm-hmm. There's no possession limit in rugby, so a lot of people, if they can hold the ball the entire game, then they're going to hold the ball the entire game. So it's a lot of defensive.
And it's almost like soccer. You take your opportunities when you can, but if you can't get the opportunity, you don't want to force anything.
It bounces out. ECU deflects, and ECU gets the ball. ECU is now coming down the field, and they decide to kick it, and they kick it out of bounds. That is going to be another in-touch ECU ball, and they are going to line out on the left side of the field.
No, refs calling this one back all the way back to almost where we're at. They're going to actually line up right where we are on the near side of the field.
Yeah, this is getting brought back about 20 yards or so. And it's going to be Coastal. Coastal will be throwing the ball back into play here. Lano.
Yeah, that's great. You got a cheat sheet out of this.
It's deflected. Gets the ball. Tackle down in the ruck. And Coastal was able to get that out, and now they are moving up the field laterally. Oh, we have a player loose. Number 4 with a huge run. Ball is down.
What a run there by Daniel Collins, able to just get in there and find a lane there to get some yards.
He had a great shoulder drop there and was able to pick up an extra 5 to 7 yards after contact. This ball moving up currently. Nice lateral to 14. And he's down. He's able to get the ball out. Another hard run from 10, and he dishes it out after getting taken down to the ground. And now Coastal is playing a little more passive after that huge run from Collins, which I believe is a smart play here.
Right, you gain a whole bunch of ground, and then you're able to kind of maneuver around. But I believe
we have a official call stoppage talking to ECU players. Talking to a single player at ECU, actually, number 7. Rory Naylor, number 10 for Coastal, is over by the official hearing what the official has to say to ECU. Seems like it would have been a warning.
Yeah, probably a warning. ECU's going to get the ball here. Kick it back.
ECU kicks. And it is going to be another in touch. And ECU will be doing a line out now. About 20 to 25 yards out from their try zone. ECU gets the ball. Ooh, huge hit from Collins. Huge hit from Collins, but ECU remains possession of the ball. We have a ruck. Oh, and CCU comes up with the ball.
Coastal's able to get it out there, though.
Yep, Coastal still has possession. Oh, he's taken down after a nice little gain. Coastal is fighting back, and they remain possession. Looking really good laterally. The team's definitely looking great.
They're able to move the ball pretty much side to side and able to kind of try to find the holes where they can. A couple of good runs so far, good gains so far from a couple of the Coastal players. Now they're just trying to kind of fight back out of their own side of the field.
Yeah, Coastal was working midfield, but now they're on the right side of the field. Taken down in another ruck. They're able to get that one out. And there's going to be a ruck pile up. And he gets it out and dishes it to midfield. Another pile up. They really slowed it down there, which I think was a good play.
Mm-hmm. Able to kind of get it out, and they're trying to move as a huge hit from ECU, just a suplex almost. And Coastal's finally going to get this one out. They're going to kick it.
And ECU catches it. Catches the kick from Coastal, and they're moving it up laterally. They're getting good yards here. Taken down. With a huge pileup and a whistle call from the official. And that's the thing about rugby that really surprises me, and it's completely different from any other sport, is how much effort goes into just gaining a yard. Even if that is like, you're putting that much effort in to just only lose a yard.
And it's a lot like it's just a grudge match in the trenches. Like you think about football, everyone talks about the trenches and how offensive line and defensive line play with each other and try to gain almost inches at that point in the trenches. But the entire game of rugby is just that.
Exactly.
It is literally if you just took the offensive and defensive line in football and then just put it on a field, that's what rugby would be. And that is the beautiful part about the sport.
While we were just talking, ECU decided to kick it off. It went out of bounds, and ECU will be conducting a line out around the 20-yard line from Coastal's tri-zone. Ball is up. We have some obstruction, so I can't see. ECU did get the ball, and they are now midfield. And shortly after a pileup, the official calls whistle. ECU midfield, making good ground. ECU really closing in on Coastal's tri-zone. I'd say they're about within the 5-yard line from it.
Yeah, they're getting in there.
They're just pile driving into the tri-zone right now, and now they have the whole team pushing on each other's backs, trying to get it in. The official is watching the line.
They are stood up.
And that's going to be a stop.
Whatever the call was, it was good for Coastal.
Yep.
The Coastal's bench was going crazy after that one.
So it seems like they were able to stop that momentum.
And that's huge. I mean, you're down that close. You got to think ECU closes that one out, and they just don't.
Yep.
Big stop there. We're 30 minutes left in the half, and just Coastal able to hold on.
I believe we have a maul going on now where there's going to be a fight for the ball. Yup, this is going to be a maul. Ball's underneath. They're going to fight for it. Let's see what the official says.
And Coastal got it out.
Coastal was able to get it out from the maul and kick it downfield.
What a play. Well, yeah, what a play there.
Really, really well defensive play. I mean, they were within the 5-yard line. And they just pushed ECU all the way back to a little bit behind midfield. ECU is now pushing up midfield, trying to get back to that position. I mean, that is a really, really rough loss for ECU to not get in there.
Right, and I think now you see ECU kind of flustered now. I think you see some of their players just kind of trying to regather themselves after being so close and yet not being able to get it in.
Big look here, he's not able to get it out. Finally gets it out and goes midfield. ECU still with the possession. ECU slowly gaining yard by yard. And they decide to do a big lateral to the player in the back and kick it downfield. Coastal catches the kick, and a whistle is called.
I will say, the one thing that I will say is ECU has kind of dominated Coastal so far. I mean, if I had to guess, time of possession is very much in the ECU's favor.
I agree with that.
They've been down in Coastal's side of the field pretty much the entire game. We had the one possession from Coastal where they were able to kind of get down close, but outside of that, ECU has been able to kind of maintain possession, and that's kind of what I was talking about. You hold possession and wait for a mistake from the opposing team. Mm-hmm. The only problem is ECU wasn't able to capitalize when they got down close, and so Coastal was able to close that gap. And now they're gonna have a line in, I believe. Yeah, ECU's gonna have a
Line out.
line out. Yeah, not in, out.
ECU throws the ball out. It goes over the heads, and ECU gets the ball and is taken down around like the 30-yard line. ECU still pushing through, and the official calls a whistle. Let's see what that is. I believe we have a maul here.
Yeah, it's good. And this is the best part of rugby, I would say, is when everyone's just trying to converge on one spot, and it's just low man wins, and who can end up squeezing the ball out and gaining possession here. This would be huge for Coastal if they can finally break the possession streak for ECU.
100%. Yeah, we have a maul happening right now around the Coastal's like 35-yard line, and Coastal's able to get the ball. And still pushing it slowly. Midfield right now, piled up in a ruck. They get it out. And I mean, ECU is just all over it right now.
Yeah, they're ECU's defense right now. As we say that, a big lane opens up.
There we go. And that is, oh, and he's still going. And I believe that's number 2, right? That's Thomas?
Yeah, Thomas, yeah.
Thomas Johnson with a huge lane. ECU laterals it back and decides to kick. So Coastal's going to have a line out
And this is
opportunity.
probably
We're about 15 yards out from ECU's try zone, but we do have an official whistle, and they're right in front of us. So I'm going to hear in and see what they say about this.
It did not go directly.
I think Coastal thought it was going to be an open possession, and they were able to just kind of throw it back into the field of play. And instead, they're going to call a line out.
Yep. And that actually got pushed up even further, and I would say they're about 12 yards from ECU's try zone.
And
so
now
for Coastal, this is going to be their best look at a high school finals game. So.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say probably the second opportunity they've had. The first opportunity got pushed back rather quickly, and since that last attempt about 10 minutes ago, ECU has had the ball in Coastal possession or in Coastal territory pretty much the entire time. This is going to be huge for Coastal if they can find
Throw it up, and the player that they lift up is able to get the ball. There's an official whistle. And he is going to stop. He's talking to an ECU player directly.
Yeah, he's talking directly to the ECU player. Now everyone's kind of conjoining. I think it's going to be a maul here. Yeah, it's going to be
a maul.
It's going to be right in front of us. It's going to be perfect.
Yep, we're going to be able to see the whole thing here, which is awesome. Still around that like 13-yard line from ECU's try zone. ECU does get the ball, and they are lateraling it, and they decide to kick it, which I think was a good choice.
Kick it straight up, but that was not a very far kick.
ECU does catch it, and the official calls something. Yeah, I mean that kick was a poor kick, but I do believe it was the right thing because he was in the try zone when he kicked it, and he had Coastal players all around him, and if he gets tackled there, then it's going to be points for Coastal. So I believe the kick away was the right play by ECU.
Right play, just poor execution there. They're going to have another maul, not right in front of us this time. ECU will get it out.
ECU will get the ball. Take it down in the rock. He's able to get it out. ECU pushing towards midfield now. And that's Collins right on top of the pass, able to get him down for, I would say, -4 yards. a big play. They're getting really pushed back. They are almost, ECU is now pushed back close to their try zone.
And now we're seeing like even though ECU has possession here, this is where you want to be if you're Coastal. If you're on defense, you want pressure.
And they decided to kick it again, but just like the last one, it was very vertical. Did not get many yards. I'd say that was about a 10-yard kick. And there's going to be a line out. It should be for ECU.
He's been roughing since
Yeah. No, I think.
Oh, it's going to be Coastal.
Yeah, Coastal's going to be lining out. I don't know, big, and like I was saying, I think the momentum is kind of shifting here. Momentum was in ECU's possession for most of this half. We're about 20 minutes left. This Coastal's got the ball back. There's a lane.
High score.
He had a gap on the hole. I mean, it was a line out, and then they got the ball, and all of a sudden you just see a blur coming past us, and was able to hit a hole, and there was just not enough ECU defenders back in order to stop him. No one was back, and that's the quick hit ability that you see sometimes. Is that if you're able to reverse field quickly, you have no defenders on the backside, and so if you're able to reverse field, you have a 1-on-2 matchup, and with how open the field is and how sometimes skinny these guys can get in between tackles, you're not going to stop that many people on a 1-on-2 situation.
100%. He was able to find that hole so fast, and his acceleration was just too quick for ECU to get back. Once he got through the hole, you could see all the ECU players, their hips had to turn, and they just couldn't catch up to him, and he broke loose. And that's Griffin O'Connell, number 15. The conversion is up, and it is a little bit wide left, so that is not going to be a successful conversion for Coastal, unfortunately. But
about halfway through the half now, Bill, just under 20 minutes left, and we finally get our first points on the board. And this is the big part. Is what I was saying about momentum right before actually Coastal ends up scoring is ECU had been in Coastal's in their territory the entire time, and so when you're finally able to flip that, and then you get the quick reverse and you get the quick score, all of a sudden Coastal's feeling good about themselves, and they're able to kind of seize that momentum. And now I'd be willing to see Coastal trying to capitalize on what they've already done.
we had ECU kick off there, and they do get the ball. And taken down aggressively by Coastal. You can tell that they have a lot of motivation right now after that big score. ECU gets out of the ruck, and they're able to move it up a little bit. But taken down and met with 3 Coastal players. And, I mean, Coastal's just all over it right now. They're looking really good defensively. And there's a whistle from the official.
There was a big tackle there by Logan Kennedy there. He kind of came up and knocked the ball loose, and that's what kind of sparked the ref stoppage. But
it's going to be another takedown. ECU still trying to move the ball up. And another whistle from the official.
And from ECU here, what you need is a score. I mean, again, like I've said, you've been able to get close. I mean, they were within, I'd say, 2 yards from scoring no less than 10 minutes ago. And so all of a sudden you're sitting here and you're looking at it and you go, okay, well, we were that close before. Why can't we do that again? And I think what you'll see from ECU here is they'll get a little bit more aggressive. Even though we're still very early in this game, they're going to get a little bit more aggressive. They're going to start pressing the issue, knowing that they definitely have the athletes and the people to get up and play that style of rugby.
You can tell Coastal is very driven right now. I think that try that they scored there was huge, but I also think the misconversion is just more motivation for them. And defensively, they're looking really well here. They've kept ECU to only move the ball perpendicularly. They have not made much forward gain. And Coastal's going to get the ball here. Tackled, but gone right back up. Lateral to the right side of the field. We have some obstruction of view here from the team, but on the right side, on Coastal's, that's a 30-yard line. We have just a rough pile in there.
Trying to see anything right now.
Yep. And I believe Coastal still has possession of the ball.
I can't even.
Yeah, we have the team in front of us, so it's very hard to see. I'm going to stand up just to see because I think ECU has pushed them very close to Coastal's try zone. ECU is pushing back.
They're close.
ECU's team celebrating, but don't believe it yet. They're right on the line here, within 5 yards.
And they reverse it.
Player kicks it forward. And there's an official whistle. I'm not sure what happened there. We had an ECU player kick it towards the try zone, which you can kick it forwardly, you just cannot throw it forwardly. And I believe a Coastal player touched it before it went out of bounds. So I believe that's going to be an ECU line out on the Coastal 3-yard line. Yeah. They're right on the try zone line. Ball's put back into play, and they are right on the line. Official watching closely. We have a huge ruck,
and there it is.
ECU does push through for a try there.
And that was what we said. I mean, we assumed that ECU was going to come out and play aggressive after that.
Yep.
After that score from Coastal, and they do. And now they're a conversion away from taking the lead, and it's at least tied right now. But they're a conversion away from taking the lead now.
So we will watch this conversion underway and see if ECU will be able to take the lead here with about 15 minutes left in the first half. And Coastal fought hard on that play defensively, but ECU had so much forward momentum, and unfortunately we have an obstruction of view from where we are, and we could not see a good bit of the ECU push, but there was a lot of pile-ups, a lot of rucks happening, and they were able to just really push one through.
Mm-hmm. And when that is the downside of when you kick that ball off, you are so far into your own zone that if you end up giving the ball away, that ECU or your opponent is so close to.
Up. It is missed. I believe this ECU player on the kick actually slipped, and I believe that's the reason why that was off, because it looked pretty good until the wind got hold of it and it went a little wide left. So we are looking at a tied game here with about 13 minutes left in the first half, which is a huge miss for Coastal,
yeah.
Especially because they missed their conversion. They needed a missed conversion there.
Come on, Coastal!
Kick is up, and ECU gets the ball right back. A little bit behind midfield. And we're seeing just another series of pile-ups and rucks, and ECU just trying to really powerhouse the ball through. They, when they find a hole here, one of the ECU players, they gain about 8 yards there. But a missed lateral pass is going to bring them back another 5, and they're about back where they were. So a huge missed opportunity there. Big hit from Coastal. ECU gets the ball, and I believe that's going out a line out from an ECU player, and that should be an in touch from an ECU player, and that should be a line out for Coastal's team.
Yeah, Coastal sideline loving the defense right there. I mean, a big hit there, I believe, from Dominic Whittles. and able to kind of knock the ball free and force the line out. And Coastal will be throwing it back into play. But yeah, huge hit there on defense for Coastal, and the sideline was loving it there.
I'm just going to listen into what the official has to say here. He's just correcting the formation of the lineout, and we're going to see who gets possession. The ball is up. Coastal misses it, and that is going to be ECU's ball right about midfield. And ECU is going to start trying to make some forward progress here at midfield with about 10 minutes left to go.
And that was huge, though. That was Coastal's chance to kind of get the ball back into play and force something on their end, but miscue there, and ECU was able to take advantage of it.
Yeah, that was an unfortunate turnover for Coastal. They would have had solid field position there, definitely past midfield, especially down, especially tied. Wanted to go into the second half of the league, but there's a lot of time in the clock. ECU player taking down midfield. The ball's loose, and that's going to be Coastal recovery. That's a huge defensive play by the Coastal team. I believe that was, that's number 4. That's Collins, and he's having a great game today.
Yeah, Collins was the one who had the run earlier to put them into position earlier in the game to try to get into the try zone, but huge play, and then a huge play there to knock the ball loose, and there is a stoppage there. But yeah, he's had a great game so far.
One of the more aggressive players for sure. You can see his dedication, and not to say he's a big guy.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not sure how tall he is, but he's towering over a lot of this ECU team, and he doesn't run light. He runs really heavy, so he's made a bunch of big plays for the team, and we're gonna have a maul here at just about midfield.
A little into Coastal territory, if anything.
And ball's in, and Coastal is going to get possession of it, and they are quickly moving it laterally, and they're getting a couple forward years. And a bad fumble from one of the Coastal players. ECU able to just strip the ball out of the hands. A good defensive play from that East Carolina player. Oh, but a huge tackle from Coastal, and he's all over it.
Yeah, number 11, Amir Ashley there on the tackle, a big hit.
And they were able to turn a bad turnover with a lot of gain they still turned the ball over, but they were able to push him back about 20 yards there. So.
Yeah, ECU was kind of moving there, and then the big hit from Amir there and knocks him back a little bit.
Great answer from Coastal.
And Coastal's going to kick it down.
And that is going to be out of bounds.
Yeah, and a Coastal line out there, just able to sit there and able to kind of mitigate the damage there from the turnover. And even though ECU is going to retain possession here, big play here off the line out and able to push them back a good amount too.
For sure. I mean, the last thing you want to see with your team is have a turnover, but it's what happens is what happens, and it's more importantly how you're going to answer.
Right.
And I think they had a great answer.
On the line out here, Coastal actually throws it in.
And that's going to be Collins with a huge catch, and he's taken down, and he looks a little shooken up, but he's up, moving, and seems to be fine, so.
It's good news. Can't quite. I think this is going to be a maul here.
It should be a maul here. The official is going to set it up here, and we are about, I would say, about 15 yards out from ECU.
You know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of the last the Coastal score from earlier.
It does.
Where they had the maul on it was on the far side. It's on the far side this time. It was on the near side the first time, but had a maul, got possession out of that, and then able to reverse field and score. Let's see if they can kind of replicate that here.
ECU does get the ball from the maul. And there's a huge chunk play from ECU. But a missed lateral throw, and Coastal's actually going to get the ball back.
Huge play there.
And what a way to answer.
And you know who was on the bottom of that pile? Daniel Collins again. Daniel Collins able to come up with that ball, and he's made play after play on a bad turnover there too.
And that was going to be an interception, and it seems like ECU broke free if they're not in there right on the line of Coastal's try zone, and that is a unfortunate series of events after that huge stop. I'm going to have to stand up to see. Ball is kicked up, so Coastal must have gotten the ball there and kicked it up, and they got about 20 yards out, which is huge because ECU was right on that line, the try zone. And there's going to be a whistle from the official.
While we have a quick stop though, what a turn of events. I mean, you forced the turnover after a huge run by ECU to get down close, and then all of a sudden you turn the ball over again off a bad lateral.
ECU still trying to hammer it home here. Seems like ECU is making some good progress. I apologize again for the obstruction of view. And ECU is going to be right on the line of the try zone. And I believe ECU did get in.
Yeah, they did.
And ECU does push through for another try.
And so
It's going to bring us to 10-5.
so the mall that we had on the far side, right about in line where we're sitting.
Mm-hmm.
So they have the mall. ECU gets possession. They have a huge run off of that, and then all of a sudden he tries to lateral, and it goes right to Daniel Collins again, who forces another turnover, and then off of the lateral from Daniel Collins to somebody else, it's another lateral, and it's basically intercepted by one of the ECU players, and is able to run it all the way down to about the 5 yard mark, and able to put it in from there. But just a crazy turn of events. I mean, Coastal looked like momentum could have been swinging in their direction again after the try from ECU a couple of minutes ago, and then all of a sudden it's an intercepted off a lateral and is brought all the way down to around the 5 yard mark, and ECU's able to punch it in from there.
100%. I mean, it was a really unfortunate series of events for Coastal. And that's the thing about rugby is that, like, in a second something can completely change, almost like football. But because there's so much more, there's no timeouts, there's no stoppage of the clock. There's so much going on. So it was unfortunate. It went turnover. Coastal was able to get that ball, and then unfortunately a misread on that lateral pass gave ECU the ball back with momentum.
The conversion was good on the kick, by the way.
Oh yeah.
But so looking at 12-5 now, but with how fast-paced rugby is, 12-5 is not an insurmountable lead. And Coastal is going to kick it off and get a good chunk gain. It is caught by one of the players. I cannot see who that is from here because they were on the far side, but a big chunk play after catching the kickoff there is going to put Coastal about 15 yards from ECU's try zone. And again, closing out that half here with points would be absolutely huge. Even just getting the try itself, not even just the conversion, or not even the conversion on top of it, but just to try to close it out to a 12-10 game would be absolutely huge here for Coastal.
100%. Yeah, we're looking at about 3.5 minutes left to go in this half, and if they can come out with points here, that would put them in a great position. I mean, they're only down a try and a conversion, so Coastal is definitely still in this game, and ECU is still going to have to play great defense to keep them from getting points here. We have a line-out attempt from ECU when they do get the ball, and they're going to, and Coastal all over it, but ECU does find a way to squeak the ball through. ECU is just slowly trying to make some forward progression here with about 3 minutes left in the half. ECU in a ruck right now, about 8 yards away from midline on their own side of the field. And I think Coastal just got the ball there. but ECU was able to reel it back in. That was number 17 for Coastal. Almost had a great strip there for a turnover, but unfortunately ECU was able to grab it back, and now ECU is laterally making some progress. And there's going to be a whistle from the official on the sideline, and it seems like a couple players are getting into a disagreement.
A disagreement, yeah. I mean, you saw both benches start to come up and talk their stuff, and
you see an ECU coach now kind of bringing his players back over to their side. So there was definitely maybe a late hit or a missed call there. And this is going to be a
line out.
I believe it's going to be a maul. No, you're correct. It is going to be a line out, and it's going to be
no.
Oh no, it's going to be a maul.
Yeah, you were right the first. Don't.
Sorry.
No, you're good. But yeah, huge play, and ECU I don't think is going to sit on this lead and go into the half. I think they're going to try to push the issue and force Coastal to make a big comeback in the half, but they got to get through this maul first.
Yeah, successful possession attempt from this maul here would be great for them. There's only a minute left, and the last thing that they can really give up now is more points to ECU before halftime.
Right. An ECU guy off the maul.
ECU's able to get it, but number 7 easily able to wrap up on it, and Coastal did have a chance there to get the ball because it was loose, but ECU's going to get it, and then there's a whistle from the official, and I believe that this is just going to be a kick from ECU to clear out the ball. Official talking to a player, and yep, it is a kick from ECU. It's not quite out of bounds. It's caught by an East Carolina player, and they're about 20 yards from Coastal's try zone with only 10 seconds to go. And Coastal's going to get the ball here on a bad lateral pass, and they're going to move the ball up a little bit. And
big hit there.
Big hit there from I believe that's Nick. Yep, that's going to be Nick Luciano. Huge hit from him.
Coastal's still fighting through this, though.
Still fighting through it. The clock has ended, so now we're just looking to see stoppage of play. So we'll see on this last leg if Coastal can try and squeeze in some last second points here.
Yeah, Coastal's going to get out of the ruck here. Slowly moving up the field, though. And we lost possession. That's going to...
A stripped ball. ECU strips a ball from Coastal, and ECU decides to kick it out of bounds.
Yeah, we're waiting on that. Clock is all at all zeros, and we're just waiting on a stoppage of gameplay from the ref.
They're gonna go for. Coastal midfield, still pushing it through. A huge pile up, and Coastal almost got a hole there. I believe that was the same player who got the try for Coastal earlier in this game. Such an explosive player. Coastal's just inching and really just trying to powerhouse it through.
And ECU, I think,
ECU actually came out with that ball, and ECU now has the ball, and they decide to kick it out. And I believe that's going to take us to half.
So, what are your thoughts on the first half? I think early on, ECU kind of had the momentum, had the possession definitely. Coastal was able to kind of break through with the first points of the game, but ever since that try from Coastal, it's been all ECU.
Yeah, I mean, ECU came out the gate looking great. I think Coastal kind of caught up, but after Coastal's try, I think that only motivated them more, and since then ECU has looked a little bit more dominant as a team. But both teams look explosive, motivated. They both look great, I mean, Coastal's down only 7. That's only a try and a conversion. So, I mean, I'm loving the game right now.
I am too.
It's entertaining. It's fast. It's very explosive. Both teams want this win. And I know we talked to a few players beforehand, and they knew the strength of ECU's team coming into it. So Coastal's definitely very dedicated and very motivated to try and get a win here today.
Yeah, and I think based on what we've seen so far, I think the main adjustment that Coastal needs to make is just limit the mistakes. That's all you really have to do. I think, and obviously easier said than done, but there were a few right before the last try from ECU. They had the ball. They had a quick swing over to the near side of the field from us, and they had an opportunity to kind of split the lane. And this game very well could be 10-5 Coastal's way or even 12-5 Coastal's way.
100%.
But instead they make a late pitch and it's intercepted by ECU, and all of a sudden that's basically a 14-point swing there. ECU getting that turnover, and all of a sudden now it's 12-5 ECU instead of potentially could have been 12-5 Coastal. But I think this game's nowhere near over. I think Coastal is going to make the right adjustments at halftime, and I think they're going to come out and they're going to play a lot cleaner of a game in the second half. And I think we're in for a good one because Coastal has shown that they can move the ball. It's just going to be whether or not they can limit the mistakes. I think that's what it comes down to.
100% agree with you there, Preston. I mean, there is so much time. It's a 40-minute half, no stop clock. So much can happen within that time, as we saw in the first half. And I think the game's only going to get better. I think it's only going to get closer. And we'll keep you guys updated with it.
I like the effort of Daniel Collins in this one. I mean, he's been the bruiser so far. He's been the one getting in, forced a couple turnovers there. Just that almost that like Derrick Henry-esque, like just get a couple yards here and there, like move the ball, allow for someone like Griffin O'Connell to split seams and get out there. Like we saw on the try conversion that they had earlier.
Yeah, I love that that similarity that you brought out, Derrick Henry, because it might seem funny, but I mean, Collins runs with so much aggression and so much power.
It's almost like I don't know if you know like how Isaiah Pacheco runs.
Yeah, he hates the ground.
He runs like he runs like he's trying to stomp through the earth.
Yep.
And that's kind of what Collins' running style is just trying to stomp through the ground, plant a leg, and just pile drive whoever's in front of him.
I mean, Collins' jersey's looking gray.
and they're white.
They're pure white.
They're pure white jerseys.
You can just tell by looking at him. He's got the knee sleeve on. His jersey's disgusting. His hair is all messed up. You can tell that like he gives 110% out here, and I can tell by watching him as well. So I'm excited to watch him play the second half.
I think the quick reversals from Coastal was what worked the best. I mean, we saw on the try conversion from O'Connell there in the first half that when you can quickly reverse the field, and when you have someone like Collins who's out there who can soak up tackles and soak up bodies. I mean, you gotta have at least 2 or 3 people to tackle Collins if he's got the ball. So if Collins can suck in those 2 or 3 people and then dish it out to someone like O'Connell
and get that hole, that would be.
Yeah, or even Nick Luciano, who we've seen force a couple tackles and force a couple turnovers and has the speed out there. I mean, all it takes is one reversal, and all of a sudden you have a lane. I think that's what we're going to see from Coastal here in the second half, is they're getting ready to send it away.
Yep, we are going into the second half here, and Coastal will be kicking off towards ECU. We're at half here, about to start 40-minute half, and we have CCU down 7. It's 5-12, and ECU is up.
The thing that I've seen from ECU that is really telling though is that you never see, like, you've seen turnovers from them obviously, like that they haven't played a perfect game, but they don't have open field turnovers, and like that's something that actually you talk more about in basketball, is limiting if you turn the ball over, you don't want it to be in the open court.
It's like silly turnovers.
Right, yeah, but not even, I mean, you can have silly turnovers as long as the possession stops. Like, if you have a silly turnover on a line out, that's fine because you at least have the opportunity to get the ball back and gain possession. Coastal's turnovers, I feel like, have always been in the field of play where ECU is able to make a breakaway run and gain a whole bunch of yards off of a turnover from Coastal. I think it's the thing that ECU has done that they've limited that, and they're able to kind of, and that's why they have the lead right now, because they've limited those types of turnovers.
And the second half is about to be underway here. We have number 10, Rory Naylor,
walk it out, Queen.
kicking it
Walk
off
it out.
towards ECU.
You got it.
Coach's whistle, and
Come on, Coastal.
kick is up. ECU is going to get possession of the ball, and they are. Oh, and they have a nice breakaway. ECU bringing it all the way to midfield from that kickoff. ECU still trying to push forward. And the official is going to call the whistle here. I believe we're going to look at a maul. It is going to be a maul.
It's been a long week. I'm so sorry. Nope, we're gonna
Big thing is can Coastal break through the maul here? I think ECU's one. If I was keeping count, I'd say ECU probably has one more than what Coastal has,
Yeah.
and that's part of the reason I think they're losing right now is they haven't been able to secure the mauls here.
And this is happening in midfield. And the ball is under. Coastal did get it from the maul, but there's an instant whistle from the official. I'm going to try and see what they're saying it is.
I believe they're just going to set it right back up and do it again.
Yeah, I think it might have been a formation issue, and they're going to replay the maul.
You want 2 or 1, Raya?
Yeah, they're setting up for it again. Ref talking to a couple of the players that are in the middle of the maul.
And they're getting down, and there's going to be a second attempt at this maul at midfield.
There's not.
And
There's
whistle.
another whistle from the official. And they're on the far side, and they're midfield. So, unfortunately, it's hard to see exactly who the official is talking to, but it seems like it's more directed at Coastal players.
So we are setting up for attempt number 3 on the maul. Third time, I guess, is the charm.
You can hear the ECU sideline chanting. And the ball is in, and Coastal does go possession, and they're going to kick it right away.
Good catch from 15.
Catches it. Wow.
Griffin O'Connell, who we mentioned earlier, had the try conversion, able to catch that ball and able to secure possession for Coastal.
A huge play from 15 again. And Coastal really hammering it close to ECU's try zone. This is exactly what Coastal needs. And Coastal caught up in a ruck here, but still with the ball, and there goes Collins up the middle for a few yards, and they're going to kick it back or throw it back laterally to another player. Coastal still pushing it forward. I apologize. I'm going to have to stand up again to get a view of what's happening. Slowly trying to power through. I'd say I think 5 minutes. There's a big chunk play. And
They are close.
about right on the line.
Good move.
And a good move from number 10. There needs to be better blocking on that.
Yeah, coastal reverse field, and they're gonna kick it towards the try zone.
And there's a whistle called. There needs to be better blocking on that play on the west on the far side. If there's better blocking for, I believe it was number 11 or 11
Yeah,
or 17.
I think it was 11 because Amir Ashley was one of the guys who we mentioned earlier. And I think
with the big big turnover play. So
they're still close though.
and a huge run, and it looks like
It's close.
and Coastal's in for a try.
What a play! After that maul, and what did I say earlier? Coming off that maul is huge. If you can gain possession and that kick down the field, number 15, Griffin O'Connell. I feel like I'm talking about football again. Griffin O'Connell there, able to get the catch and set Coastal up close, and that's all it took was getting close. And what we saw earlier from Coastal, where they held ECU down with about 2 yards to go, is a very rare sight. If you get it down within 2 yards in rugby, you should be able to score, and that's what we just saw from Coastal right there.
Yeah, they were really powering it through, and I know we were talking about poor blocking on that last play, but they were able to take the momentum and keep it going, and that is going to bring us to 10-12. The conversion is up, and hard to tell from our angle, but I don't believe it was good. Double check the scoreboard here.
Yeah, I don't think it's changing. I think it's going to stay 12-10.
I think, unfortunately, the conversion was missed, but we are now at a 2-point game.
And what a start for Coastal. I mean, coming out here within scoring, scoring within, even scoring within 6 minutes of the second half starting, that was huge for Coastal. And if you can keep that, and we're talking about momentum a lot, but if you can keep that, that's all you really need is to keep possession and keep that momentum going, as Coastal's going to end up with possession here off of a poor kick from ECU.
And that's huge for them as well, because they are still down 2 points, so they are definitely going to keep this momentum up and push through.
Actually, they're going to set up for a maul, it looks like.
And talk about an aggressive player. How about number 7? I believe that's Henry Bowen.
Mm-hmm.
He has been everywhere.
We haven't said his name yet, but he's one of those just get on the ground, get dirty. He's just one of those players that doesn't really do a whole lot in terms of like stats or like big plays or whatnot, but he's able to set up blocks and get down and get dirty.
Definitely one of the more aggressive players on this team, and he's the one making plays for the bigger players on this team.
Yeah, and I think that's the huge part is you can have a whole bunch of superstars. You can have a whole bunch of players that score points for you, but if you don't have the people that are willing to block and do the dirty work and do the grudge work, as you call it, you're not gonna be a successful team. And that's what I think. Henry's doing for this Coastal rugby team right now.
100%. We're looking at a maul right now, right on midfield, and Coastal is going to get the ball. And they are going in number 20 here with a huge hole, gaining about 20 yards off of midfield. And they're going to keep pushing through, slowly gaining some yards. And Coastal's offense coming out of the second half is looking great.
Absolutely amazing. And it was Robert Godwin on the big carry that has moved him from midfield to into ECU territory. Huge play there from him, and able to find a lane and keep Coastal's possession going.
And we're gonna get a kick here, and
it's in the try zone.
Oh, it is in the try zone, and I saw it looked like a loose ball after an ECU player missed the catch, but I believe ECU did get the ball.
I can't. Yeah, they love that bottom, that near left corner where
they love the one spot we can't see. They love it.
ECU's gonna kick it out.
ECU, they kick it out, and it's gonna go
pretty much sideways,
straight out of bounds. And I think we're gonna have a line out for ECU around around their own down 15-yard
Yeah,
line.
15-10. Yeah.
But what a great way for Coastal to come out.
Oh yeah, Coastal came out in the second half and is dominating. I think they were able to convert on that try earlier, and now what you're seeing is Coastal not letting up, taking their foot off the gas pedal. They understand that they're still losing this game, and they cannot let up now. And I think that is huge for this Coastal team.
And the line-out is thrown in by ECU, and ECU is going to have possession of it, but ECU is quickly taken down by the Coastal team. And ECU just trying to bring the ball out of their try-zone area because it is huge hit and a fumble from ECU. That's going to be Coastal's ball within the 10-yard line of ECU's try-zone, and they're punching it through, gaining a few yards here. I mean, they're right on the line here. And here they need to keep this momentum up. They need to push one in here.
They're close.
Trying to look at the official. A big lateral dish caught up by players. And they're getting...
Ball's loose. I think ball's loose. I don't know who's got it.
And Coastal, I believe, still has possession of it. They do. And trying to just punch one through, I believe, is Collins. It's hard to see from here.
They are right on the line. Big hit near the line.
Coastal player met with 3 ECU players, but it is still going to be Coastal's possession. And I apologize again. I'm gonna have to stand there to try and see what's going on here. Still Coastal's ball. Oh, bad lateral turnover. That's going to be ECU's ball.
And that is the struggle sometimes. I mean, sometimes you're trying to get a couple feet and you make a turnover, but I mean, Coastal still has it near their try zone. This is not a bad position yet, and Coastal knows that they're applying pressure right now, whether it's on defense or if they have possession. So
unfortunately, they couldn't get points on the board there, but a great feeling if you're a Coastal fan seeing them push through with that much intensity.
And you even saw this from ECU. I mean, in the first half, how many times did they have the ball right near the goal or right near the try zone?
Exactly.
And maybe they weren't able to push it in, but it's applying pressure and it's keeping Coastal at bay and it's keeping Coastal on their toes near their own try zone. And I think Coastal's doing that in the second half now. As Daniel Collins, I think, is getting a well-needed break right now. He putting in work, and now he's getting some ice for himself. I think he's hurting a little bit, and I can understand why. Although there's a stoppage on the field, I don't see anyone down or injured, so I don't know.
Oh, and it was an ECU player who was injured, so we're actually going to have
They're going to keep the clock. They're going to keep the clock rolling.
He's going to roll, and ECU player is. We're actually right next to the athletic director pool, so he's going to get brought over. He does have wrapping around his right knee, so let's see if that's what his.
Yeah, they're checking over on him. They're gonna set. The ball is still set. I think they're setting up for a maul, maybe.
The officials will be talking to a mixture of both Coastal and ECU players, and I think you are correct. They are setting up for a maul here, and they are about 15 to 20 yards. It's hard to tell exactly from this angle, but they're around 15 to 20 yards from Coastal's try zone.
Yeah,
So if
again,
Coastal
big
can get the
opportunity.
ball here, this is going to put them in a great position to try and get some points. And it's another formation issue. The officials had to call about 5 of those this game already, so.
Yeah, a little bit of sloppy play, but if anything, this just gives all the players a time for a break and a rest, and that you can catch your breath and
With no stoppage of clock and with how aggressive the sport is, I'm sure they
enjoy.
love a formation call.
Yeah.
They love a quick breather.
Coastal's they're setting up for the maul right now.
The ball is going to be picked up by Coastal and lateraled out to
kick it forward.
midfield, and then he's going to kick it forward and almost able to get on top of it himself. I cannot tell who that was from here, but almost a great play, but I believe ECU was on top of the ball. And ECU was going to have the ball within the 5-yard zone, of Coastal's try zone.
Yeah, and ECU has not spent a whole lot of time in Coastal territory in the second half.
Not even over midfield.
Yeah, I don't think they've been over midfield pretty much at all in the second half. Maybe a couple seconds, but Coastal's kept them back pretty well in the second half, and that's what I mean by applying pressure. They're keeping ECU on their toes, and one mistake from ECU right here could lead to a quick score from Coastal.
And there was a whistle from the official, and
Yeah, the ball's laying on the ground right now. The ref is talking to either two Coastal players or a Coastal and an ECU player. I can't tell, but he's talking to both of them right now. I think it's two Coastal players. Probably assessing warnings.
yep, it is going to be 2 Coastal players, and everyone else on the field is just waiting. So I would assume it would be a warning conversation.
Probably language, or probably not anything too crazy.
Yep. Yeah, there was no penalty call, so. And those 2 players run back out. And I believe ECU is going to be able to kick it towards midfield here. And the kick is up. And it is very far right, about 10 yards out of bounds.
And ECU's going to have a line out here. And this is also a big opportunity here. If Coastal can force a turnover, they are still right near their try zone.
Still on ECU's side of the field, which is just an amazing show of their offense and their aggressiveness. The fact that ECU looked so good as they did coming out of the beginning of the game. Now this second half, they haven't even seen their side of the field yet. I mean,
and there it is. Coastal has possession right here.
Does have possession.
Big turnover there.
It is at midfield. The player is taken down, and he's going to lateral it back. And a little past midfield
There
now,
goes 10.
but not anymore. 10 with a huge play.
Kicks it down towards the try zone.
Kicks it
ECU
down,
doesn't
and
have
now
it,
the
though.
ball is right where it's been pretty much this whole second half. It is right on the line of ECU's try zone. ECU does have possession here. And a whistle coming in from the official. And I mean, what a showing.
Yeah, just a great second half so far from Coastal. I mean, ECU I don't think has had it past midfield except for maybe the kickoff after the score from Coastal. Outside of that, ECU has not been able to do anything. And it's not only a testament to the aggressiveness, but it's a testament to the defense for Coastal and able to keep the pressure on ECU, and just Coastal's ability in the second half to make adjustments.
Yeah.
And we talked about limiting the turnovers and limiting the silly turnovers and the turnovers that happen when everyone's moving around and in the confusion of everything instead of just on a line out or something like that. And I think that's what Coastal's done well in the second half is they haven't had very many turnovers that have given ECU an open field and an ability to make a chunk play out of nothing, basically.
And while we were talking there, ECU did kick it downfield to mid, and they now have a line-out opportunity as I am speaking. The ball is up, and ECU is able to lift a player up to get the ball. ECU now about 5 yards from midfield, which seems like the closest they've been to their side of the field this whole second half. Coastal all over it. ECU still trying to push. And a ECU player was holding up a Coastal player, and the Coastal player picked him up and threw him to the ground. So, but there was no call from the ref there, so not a penalty. And ECU still at half.
Oh, Coastal's got it.
Coastal, a loose ball just came out. Coastal has it. And a huge run. They're going to take it down the left side, and it looks like they're loose. And what a turnover that! A huge turnover. Coastal scoops and scores.
Yeah, number 13 there, Carter Nutt on the catch, and just it all seemed like it happened so fast. It was 1 second it was ECU ball, and then all of a sudden Coastal comes out with it after a huge turnover and is able to score. What a play! And all of a sudden Coastal has the lead after a dominant second half so far, where you expected that it would happen at some point. They finally break through for the second try of the score or of the second half, and now they have a chance to push it to a 5-point lead on the conversion.
We do have a injured Coastal player. I believe that's going to be Reed Stiles, number 12, and he's getting looked at right now. The athletic director. It looks like it's something on his right forearm. And the athletic director checking in on him, but Coastal is now going to take the lead, and that is 15-12. Shot the clears.
Yeah, big play there from Coastal, and again that Coastal defense, and honestly the Coastal offense too, is just absolutely smothered ECU so far in the second half. I mean, talk about a tale of two halves. I mean, first half ECU had the ball in Coastal territory pretty much the entire time, and then all of a sudden you have Coastal in the second half come out and just absolutely dominate. And that is what we've seen so far. And we're going to see how ECU responds, or if Coastal can just continue to just destroy them on both sides of the ball.
I do want to add, while we were talking about the Coastal player, Coastal's conversion was not good, and that is going to keep the score at 15-12. That's 3 missed conversions for Coastal, which
could come back to hurt them.
It could definitely come back to hurt them. Those are points up for grab that they unfortunately missed. So we're going to keep an eye on.
Because that's the difference between if ECU scores here and gets the 5-point try conversion. That's automatically lead instead of it being a just tie and they need the conversion to take the lead.
Reed Stiles got his right arm wrapped up and he is now back into the game. So that's good to know that Coastal did not have a player come out for the game. But like you were saying, I mean, it's just like American football. Mm-hmm. How many games do teams lose by missed field goals?
Mm-hmm. Or, even missed extra points for that.
Exactly.
As Coastal
kick is up and Coastal's going to catch it. And couple-yard gain for Coastal. And the official's going to call the whistle. We are about 15 to 20 yards from Coastal's try. This is the closest ECU's been to scoring a point since the first half, and ECU is looking very aggressive.
Yeah, this is the best opportunity ECU's had in the second half so far.
ECU's really pushing it through now. Coastal needs to stop this. Just powering it through.
Good push from Coastal there, though. Just kind of trying to keep him away.
They are dancing on the line with Coastal's tries and still just trying to push it straight forward with 3 players behind the carrier, just trying to push their backs through Coastal's defense, but Coastal's they are right on the line here.
But then again, in rugby, you have to have it hit the ground. You can't just cross the plane. You have to have it hit the ground. So that's the key here. And they're still not getting there.
And Coastal playing absolutely beautiful line defense. And that's a huge right on the line of the try zone. And I'm sure you can hear the Chanticleer team being very excited about that stop.
What a stop. I mean, down to probably 2 feet.
And Coastal's going to kick it, and it's going to go out of bounds.
Wow, what a
show.
I mean, had him down, Coastal was down probably the last probably 2 feet, and all of a sudden, just ECU just stops. There's just nothing going for ECU.
Just pushing it through.
And just... What a play by Coastal. Coastal's going to have a line out here. 14 minutes and 40 seconds left in the game, and you got to think Coastal is going to maybe play a little bit more conservatively, just knowing that they have the lead and they can kind of wait this one out. And they
a good play from Coastal there on their line out. They were going to fake it, and they were able to scoop underneath and get a couple of runs, and more importantly, didn't have to worry about turning the ball over.
Right.
Great play.
And on top of that, it was almost like a little pick and roll action that you would see in basketball, where you set a screen and then they're able to get the ball to somebody else.
Exactly. I mean, screens in this sport, just like basketball, are extremely important, and that's how you're going to get advantages down the field. We're looking at a ruck pile up right now, still Coastal's ball, and they're about 5 yards from midfield, still on their side of the field, so they are trying to push it through. And a hard run from 15. That's Griffin O'Connell. I know we've said his name a couple times. He got that try for Coastal in the first half. And he just runs downhill.
Mm-hmm. And he's quick too. He's able to just make people miss in the open field too. And on top of that, have the strength to get extra yardage in between like through people.
Coastal pushing it in a huge run. He's going to push them a little bit past midfield now. Coastal still just...
Good catch there by number 20, able to prevent a turnover to Robert Griffin there. Robert Godwin.
And the Coastal's going to kick it forward, and that's going to bring the ball on ECU side of the field about 20 yards from the try zone, but it is going on ECU's ball. So now they just trying to play some of that hard defense that they did a few minutes ago. And a huge slam. And I believe that's number 15. And he had a huge tackle earlier in the game too.
Yeah, Griffin on that tackle with a huge slam. I mean, took him by the hip and just slammed him to the ground and was able to force a ruck there from ECU. And now I
think we're going to look at a kickoff from ECU.
Yeah, just huge plays all around from Coastal. So in the second half, I mean, now they're going to get the ball back with possession.
Yep, ECU kicks the ball up, and it is caught by Coastal. And the carrier, number 11, we talked about him earlier with the huge stop, had a nice juke move and was able to get some yards out of it. We have a ruck pile up, Coastal's possession still, and because of that ECU kick, we are back at Coastal's side of the field, about 10 yards from the midline.
And just what a run here by Coastal. I can't tell the number on that one, but he was able to run through a couple people and then did a somersault to get back up, and all of a sudden,
huge hole. That's number 5, and he might be gone. He just found a huge hole, and he is gone home. Another try. That is Dominic Whittles.
Dominic Whittles. And we said his name a couple times earlier in the first half. He had a couple defensive stops there, a couple tackles, and just what an absolute and that was one of those where, again, reversing field. They started on the far side of the field, and all of a sudden you have a reversal, and Dominic Whittles is able to get past one. And the big thing there was it was arm tackles. You don't want to in American football, in rugby, you don't want to arm tackle. You want to tackle with your full body. There, ECU, all they had was arm tackles there. They had a couple guys miss early on, and that was because they were trying to tackle with their arms and not their full body. And Dominic was able to just run straight through those and ended up finding a gap and had no one else back to stop him. And just a great play there. And all of a sudden, Coastal's got a 2-possession lead, up by 8.
And that was about a 50-yard run from midfield from Dominic, and a huge one. I mean, there's still 10 minutes left. They were up by 3, but 3 is not too much of a lead with that much time left on the clock. So now up 8. That's going to be more than just a try and a conversion. They're going to have to go for a drop goal.
Yeah.
Or they're going to have to try and get a 2.
Yeah, or
they're going to have to go for 2 tries.
For 2 tries.
So,
and also big, this game was 12-5 at halftime. And Coastal has gone out and scored 15 straight points. And
unanswered.
Unanswered. And on top of that, ECU has had one opportunity, and it was a very good goal line stop by Coastal. But outside of that, they've had no chances from ECU to score.
ECU is going to kick off, and a Coastal player went to grab it, but it bounced off of his chest, and ECU gets the ball. This is about 5 yards off midline, and we are in this is ECU's second time in the second half in Coastal territory.
And the first time they had it in Coastal territory, they were down to the foot line and could not get it in. And so, for ECU here, you have to have points here. You've got 9 minutes left in the game. They're setting up for a maul here, and you have to be able to score here.
This has to be a successful maul for ECU.
Right.
2 possessions with 8 minutes left.
Huge hit. Coastal's going to get the ball back.
Coastal is going to get the ball back here. And the official will.
Huge play off the ball there. I mean, number 20 came in and ended up getting the ball, but Scott Saylor, number 21, former Coastal quarterback turned club rugby player, came in and laid a hit there and forced the ball loose. Huge play there from Scott there. Big play, and just able for Coastal to get possession, and now they have the ball. But this time Coastal will be putting it into play.
And we have a maul there about 20 yards from Coastal's try zone, but it'll be a Coastal player releasing the ball, so
they'll have the advantage on that one.
Lock out!
And Coastal does get the ball, and a nice hole made by, I believe it's number 8, and he's gone. He gets taken down by ECU, but he just got a 20-something yard gain, and then still Coastal's ball.
Quick reversal there, and Griffin's going to have a lane on the far side of the field.
And
Coastal's still moving it.
Coastal 20 yards from the try zone, still trying to push it through. And I think if they can come out with points here, then we're most likely looking at a sealed game and closing it out. Again, I apologize for obstruction of view. They're back into the middle of the field, still about 15-20 yards from the try zone, and a good lateral and a good push through. They're going to gain about 3-5 yards there. And Coastal just trying to hammer this one through. A huge lateral out wide left.
He's close.
And
both teams' players are celebrating right now, which is kind of funny, but can't really tell down that near sideline.
It's looking like
6 minutes, 15 seconds.
As you might have just heard, 6 minutes, 15 seconds left on the clock.
our clock is a little bit off because they did take a quick stoppage of play for an injury, and on my part, I missed to stop the clock there, so our clock is off by about 10 seconds or so. But we are.
Still can't really see down that way.
It's
Finally
ECU's ball.
Finally moved back towards the middle of the field.
Now we can see that it's going to be ECU's ball in pretty much their own try zone. So Tulsa just trying to play good defense here, but ECU, big chunk play, and
They've had a lane.
I do not know what number for ECU is there, but he just had about a 40-yard run, and now ECU is going to be in Coastal territory just past that midline. And the official is going to blow a whistle here. There's going to be
a Coastal player, I think.
Coastal player.
Is that blood?
Bleeding a lot.
Yeah, bleeding off his face. And yeah, we're gonna.
Yeah, he's banged up.
He's banged up, bleeding from his face, his knee. He's looking at his knee.
A lot of blood coming out his face.
It's gonna get us.
I believe it's Henry Bowen.
Yeah.
That's crazy. See that? Don't let him in.
Yeah, blood coming all the way off his face.
With only 3 minutes and 40 seconds left, I'm not sure if we're going to see more Bowen, especially because they're up here, but with hopes that he's okay. They're checking in on his head now, cleaning up the blood, and I'm sure they'll be taking a look at that right leg as well.
Yeah, now they're setting up a maul here.
Great time for his field, son. Let's go.
The maul with ECU has the advantage. They're going to be the ball releaser, and this is about 22 yards from Coastal's try zone. ECU is in desperate need of a score here with only 3 minutes remaining in the game. And they're going to gain about 5-6 yards after that maul. A nice little chunk play from ECU. And they're going to keep trying to push it laterally. Another huge play by, I believe, the same player. Another 7 yards, and ECU's really closing the gap. They're about right on the line of the try zone.
They're on the line.
And there's a whistle from the official. And they're going to be on the goal line. Goal line, push. ECU swallowed up by Coastal's defense, but they're going to make another push. They have one ball carrier and 5 ECU players just pushing on his back, trying to get him in, but he's taken straight to the ground.
And they can't.
Coastal's goal line defense is looking spectacular this game.
And ECU does get in there.
ECU does push through and get in, so that's going to be a successful try for ECU. And it's going to take us to 2017.
Yeah, 2017. Should be 2017.
And they're going to go for the conversion. They are still down another possession with only 1:30 remaining in the game. So defense, Coastal really needs to focus on defense and not let any turnovers happen in this last minute of the game, and
they should be able to close it out.
They should be able to.
And this is actually a big conversion because they can go for the drop goal for the win if they hit the conversion. Mm-hmm. That would be huge. But if they miss, they can only tie.
For 5 minutes, boy.
And that would be the difference. Would be if they can make it here, it'd be for the win. As is up, and
I believe it is not good. We see the ref
giving the universal no good
send off, and I believe that's going to be no good conversion. But I mean, it was a coincidental conversion attempt anyways, because it wouldn't give them the tie, the win, and they're still down in possession. So that's going to be a miss, and the score is going to stay 2017 with Coastal Carolina over ECU. And we're looking at 20 seconds left, but of course, when the time runs down, we still have that last possession. So Coastal defense has to be at an all-time high here.
Yeah, especially if they don't get the ball here. If they get the ball here, then they can just milk it and ice this game.
Kickoff is up, and ECU is going to get the ball, but they are about 10 yards away from their own try zone, so they're going to need a long push. The play clock has ended its double zeros, and now we're waiting for the official to see end of play and call the game. So as long as Coastal can keep ECU out of the try zone here, should be a Chanticleer win. ECU slowly trying to push through yard by yard. They're about 5 yards away from midfield, and Coastal's all over it. And I believe that's going to be game. The official is called. Let me hear what he said.
No, it wasn't. He didn't call time, but I believe they're setting up for a maul, which would set up a Coastal opportunity to take this game over and ice the game.
It is going to be a maul about 3 to 5 yards off of midfield line, and it is going to be in Coastal's favor, as number 9 for Coastal is going to release the ball. It is picked up by Coastal. Coastal taken down, and it's going to be a successful Coastal lateral. Whistle from the ref is going to give Coastal, I believe, a kickoff after that maul successful attempt. And I believe if I'm not wrong, that the out of bounds. Oh, and they decide to not kick it off. They keep the ball and move it laterally. Number 10 pushing through and taking down pretty hard. He's had a great game for Coastal.
Coastal really is just trying to end this game right here.
Coastal not throwing it. Oh, and the ball did come loose there, but there was a whistle from the official, so I believe they're going to call that ball dead. And
all Coastal used to do is hang on.
The official meeting with players and setting up a maul here now around the same 5 to 10 yard mark from midfield, and it's going to be ECU releasing the ball.
And the ref calling it off for assuming the formation again.
There's been a lot of those calls today, which I wonder if that is something that they're going to stress about moving on, or if that's just part of the game. Maul, ball is released, and huge fight. And I believe ECU has possession. And ECU now around midfield, trying to just hammer it through.
The ball came.
The ball is loose. Rolled back a few yards with ECU's on top of it.
And Coastal's going to end up.
Coastal Carolina.
Wow. What a
ECU.
second half. I mean,
Coastal Carolina absolutely came alive that second half.
What a game. I mean, the second half was all Coastal. I mean, from start to finish in the second half, it was all Coastal. ECU had the two opportunities, the one they got stopped on, and then the one that they ended up scoring on. But Coastal came out and scored 15 straight unanswered points in the second half, and that's all they needed was the 3 tries in the second half, and all of a sudden they were victorious. And
100%.
That was a great second half from Coastal, very dominant. And we talked about how ECU was that dominant team in the first half, and how Coastal would respond in the second half. And well, I think we know how they responded. They responded by punching right back after ECU punched them in the mouth in the first half.
And offensively, coming out of the second half, Coastal looked 10 times better. They look so aggressive and so motivated, but we cannot stray away from their defense. Their defense is what won them this game. They had 2 goal line stops in the second half, which obviously would have resulted in a Coastal loss.
Right. And even in the first half, the one that at the very beginning of the game, within the first 10 minutes to start the game, they had the one right down at the goal line, and those 2 stops on either in the first half and in the second half are what sealed the deal for Coastal. It was a great game from Coastal, and especially a good second half. They did enough in the first half to keep them close, but in the second half is where they really shined and where they really decided that they were going to lock into this game and they were going to end up pulling it out, and that's exactly what they did.
100%. And we see the team going over to the scoreboard. I think they're gonna take a picture.
They're going to take a little picture, yeah.
And a huge win for them today.
Yeah, and then we got the B team game, or the B game coming up after this, and so we'll see Coastal's B team coming out against ECU's B team, and we'll call that game for you guys as well.
Cool.
But yeah, so just big game there. Conference game in the club in the club's rugby realm. Huge game for Coastal, and they were able to come back from down 7 at halftime to come back and nail it out.
All right, and that is going to wrap up the men's rugby A team. Huge win for Coastal. They beat them by 3.
Yeah.
We'll be back shortly.
It's a rugby thing. It's rugby thing. It's not.
First half.
back for the B team game.
Yep.
We are after the A team wins 20-17 in their game against ECU, and now you'll see the B team game against ECU as well.
Just want to make sure I get the clock right. And we have Coastal kicking it off to ECU's B team, and they're going to be moving it upfield. Oh, and a huge hole from ECU, and if he can get past this guy, he might be gone. That is going to be a 40-yard run taken down right in front of the try zone from ECU. But the ball's loose, and
It looks like Coastal has it.
it looks like Coastal picked it up.
Can't quite tell. Ref kind of let him play. Yeah, ref kind of let him play.
We're looking at a ball right now.
And there goes Coastal with possession. And there's a kick away from Coastal.
ECU gets the ball back, and they're about 10 yards from midline, or from midfield.
Oh, a huge hit there from Coastal. We don't have the correct roster for the B team, but huge hit there. I believe it was number 1.
And ECU pushing it up about 20 yards away from the try zone. ECU now going through their offense, just trying to get some lateral moves.
ECU just trying to move the ball at all.
And the officials call.
This is going to move back.
It's going to be a penalty, I believe. But they decide not to kick it. They're going to go for the try. And ECU just trying to hammer through. They're about 5 yards from the try zone line.
Wind's starting to pick up here, and that could influence a couple conversion opportunities, but ECU's getting close.
ECU now on the line of the try zone.
Set up here, where the goal line defense is supposed to is. Oh, they're going to go maul from the front line. Oh, they're going to be...
And I did want to mention something from the last game. I did miss, at the beginning of the game, I misinterpreted the term maul. And we've been using maul, but it should be scrum.
Let's go. Let's go.
That is on my bad. I called it the maul in the beginning of the game, and then mentally I just stuck with it for the rest of the game. But I just realized that after we turned the cameras off in between that intermission of the A game and the B game, I accidentally said maul, but we were meaning the word scrum, and we will fix that terminology for this game. And I apologize, Preston, because I influenced you.
It's all right. I just went with it.
But yeah, we're looking at a scrum here, and that's gonna be 7 yards from Coastal's try zone.
Yeah, they're all setting them up, and if we thought there were a lot of infractions on the A game, I'm sure there's going to be a lot on the B game as well.
And ECU does have the advantage here. They are going to be the ones releasing the ball into the middle.
Oh, and they all fell. They all
And
collapsed.
they just fell on top of each other before the ball was even released, so that's going to be a whistle from the official.
Just a little bit of a redo.
That's coming back. Rob, tell you I could not like it.
Yeah, just trying to set it up, and I feel like it's going to be a lot sloppier of a game. Going to have a lot more turnovers in this one. But I think it should still be a good game. I think there's enough talent on both teams for there to be some good moments, and I think they'll set up the scrum here better than they did last time.
Looks solid already, and the ball is released. And ECU is going to get it. Lateral pass but a drop is going to push them back about another 7 yards, and it's still ECU's possession.
I think a huge hole for ECU, and they're going to.
Yep, a huge hole, and ECU is going to get a try. And a good hole for that ECU player. I mean,
just had it off the scrum, and then was able to just kind of find a lane and just able to put it in. Quick score from ECU. We are only just over 6 minutes gone in the first half. So 30-minute halves, not 40. So that does kind of limit the amount of opportunities you're going to have in a game. But yeah, big score from ECU to start the game out.
And they're going to go for this conversion.
The Nats are kind of getting me. They weren't bugging me as much in the first half. Or in the first
With the win now, they're going to try and get under this canopy. And ECU just placed the ball up, and conversion attempt is underway. Ball is up, and
no good, I believe.
The flag seemed like it didn't go through, but from our angle, I thought it did go through. We're gonna double check
Our angle is not the best. Yeah, I think it's gonna stay 5-0.
What? In our angle, it looked like it did, but
I thought they signaled no.
I thought they signaled no. So.
So now, the scoreboard operators are now we're asking us if we saw it. I saw a negative on that one.
It's going to be an unsuccessful conversion attempt. Have we seen any successful?
Yeah, ECU had one.
ECU had one.
ECU had one in the A game, but after that it was no good from there on out.
I wonder if it's just a bad day for kicking, or maybe the wind coming to play. These midline flags are definitely moving a lot towards the right side of the field. So.
ECU, actually, Coach is going to end up with possession, and then the whistle's going to blow it dead. That's going to be a
kick from ECU. And it's going to be out of bounds. That's going to
hit it.
Almost land on some people.
Hit a bin, a storage bin. You know, just the usual. But that's going to be a line out for ECU.
And we're about 5 yards past midline towards Coastal's try zone here. So Coastal's A team's going to have to play some good defense here and make sure that they don't get it for anything.
Yeah, big turnover would be huge here. If they can get a score here, that'd be huge. Coming from ECU. Oh, and
an unsuccessful line out attempt from ECU, and Coastal's going to recover the ball.
believe a foul. Yeah, I believe a foul was called.
I believe it's because on the
How'd that first game go? That was fun to commentate, right?
what'd you say, sorry?
That first match was fun.
Oh yeah, great game.
Should have been higher
Coach
score.
just came up and talked to us, but on that line-out attempt, you cannot deflect the ball. Obviously, in rugby, you cannot pass the ball forward. You also cannot deflect the ball forward, and an ECU player deflected the ball forward, which is going to end in a penalty. And now the officials talking some rules over with the team as they start to set up a scrum.
And lots of stoppages in this one, and I wonder if that'll get added on the back end from the referee. But yeah, trying to set them up is taking quite a while, a lot longer than the A game that we had. They're gonna do it again.
Whistle from the official. And I wonder what this is going to be because it wasn't a release issue.
So the referee was explaining to one of the guys on the A team in between the games that something to do with the rotation and trying to keep the ball in the tunnel. So if the referee thinks that one of the players made an effort to keep the ball in the tunnel of the scrum, I think that would result in a penalty.
Okay.
I think that's what I was trying to kind of listen and stretch my legs and do a whole bunch of other things at one time, but I think that was the explanation that the ref was giving one of the players from the A team, and I think that's what we might have saw there.
And second attempt for the scrum, still 5 yards past midline, Coastal's territory. And
Now they're going to reset.
the officials doing a lot of
Setting and resetting.
formation setting. About close to halfway through this first, and the official likes this one more, and Coastal is going to get possession of the ball. And a big lateral shunt play. They're going to gain a couple of yards off of that, and he's taken down into the rock. They dish it out, and wow, number 2 with a hard run. Gonna get another 5 yards, and they're about midfield now, and they just got pushed back a couple yards, so they're kind of back at that 5-yard line.
And Coast is just running through players right now. That not a whole lot of laterals like we saw in the first game, but we are seeing a whole bunch of people just running through and just trying to gain any yards that they can.
And a lateral out of a ruck is going to go to a player. I can't see the number here, but he's going to get a couple yards, and now they are about 5 to 10 yards past midfield, and they're in ECU territory.
But I think ECU just got the ball off.
And
off
ECU
the
did
turnover,
just
yeah.
get the ball now, so now it's ECU possession, and they are trying to push one through. ECU with the big chunk play.
I said Mars. I was like,
Yeah.
And it's hard to see what's going on right now from here, but seems like Coastal got the ball back there, and a huge tackle from ECU player lighting up one of our Coastal players, but no injuries.
No injuries, no penalties, no nothing.
But a whistle from the official to stop the play, and it looks like scrum is going to get set up here, and this is directly at midfield. Some ECU subs coming in, I believe. There's a ECU player who got a little banged up. He's coming off holding his left hamstring.
A very
So
difficult
we'll
fight, but
keep an eye on that and see if he comes over to the athletic director's.
Yeah, this has just been a lot sloppier of a game, and I think we kind of expected that going in, but a lot sloppier of a game than the first one we saw. Just ECU had the one score, but outside of that, they've been kind of hanging around midfield, and neither team really able to gain a whole lot of yardage, and so not really a fast start to this one, just kind of hanging out in midfield and moving.
Rum is out. ECU's gonna get it, and a ruck ECU possession is piled up just a little past midfield towards Coastal territory, and a big turnover out of that ruck, and Coastal now has possession of the ball. And just a huge ruck pile up with multiple players from multiple teams. It's hard to see who has possession coming out of this. It's going to be Coastal ball. And he's another player taken down. A lot more slower than the 18. Less big chunk plays and a lot of ruck pileups.
A lot of ruck pileups, a lot of just slow moving, gaining just a couple yards at a time. Bad throw, but ends up
bad throw, but ends up nice bounce going into the hands of number 5, and he gets tackled down and spun around, and the ball comes clean out of his hands and straight into ECU, and straight into an ECU player's hands, and now it's ECU's ball. So really quick turn of events there, and still midfield. I'd say most of this game has been spent midfield, besides that one ECU push for the. Since the ECU push for the try.
Yeah, it's been a whole lot of midfield and
back and forth.
Yeah, turnovers and a lot of midfield conglomeration.
And another rock pile up, ECU's ball, and this is still at half midfield.
I believe we're probably going to have another scrum set up. Another scrum set up.
And we are a little bit past that halfway mark of the game, still 5-0 ECU. And we haven't seen a lot from the Coastal offense yet this half. I don't believe they've gone within like the 20-yard.
Yeah, but even the ECU. I mean, I know ECU has 5 points up on the board, but even the ECU offense hasn't really done a whole lot that has shown anything crazy. I think this really just comes down to two just sloppy teams playing a pretty sloppy game. I think that's what it comes down to. Maybe we'll see a breakthrough here towards the end of the first half, where you'll see Coastal their offense jump up and get a score here, but it looks pretty sloppy to start out this game.
Yeah, I'm hoping the second half will pick up a little bit more, but we'll have to see. And that scrum took a while to set up, and that it just went through, and that's going to be Coastal's possession of the ball. And a nice little play from Coastal, moving the ball up. And Coastal still pushing through, but a stoppage of play from the official. And he's going to have a talk with the person who was carrying the ball, so it might be a safety warning or something.
Well, I think that whenever they set that ruck up, I don't believe that. I don't think they paused for long enough, maybe, and I think I think the ref called it back for that reason. I think that's what he's talking to him about now, because they had it set up, but then I guess they didn't set it up correctly, and so it got called back.
And it's looking like Coastal is going to have a kick towards ECU territory. And that is what happened. happens.
Oh, hit a truck.
And
I hope they have insurance.
that kick's going to hit a coastal faculty.
2013 Ford F-150.
It is a 2013 Ford F-150, if anyone was wondering.
Shout out Collins.
Shout out.
Collins with the
call out.
with the call out.
Not only does he
make
have
model
not,
year.
not only does he have the rugby knowledge, but he has the Ford truck knowledge as well.
I'm assuming it's not his truck though, because he seemed too happy.
He seemed too happy about something hitting it. Yeah.
And the ball is gonna come back out into Coastal possession, and they're still about midfield with a little under 10 minutes left to go in this first half.
They are starting to slowly make their way into ECU territory, and I think this, if they play it right, this could be one of the last possessions of the half, even though we are still 9.5 minutes away from halftime. With how slow moving this game has been, this could be one of the last possessions, and so if Coastal can get points on this one, then that would be huge for the momentum in the game, but even just the scoreboard, just if they are able to score here.
Coastal with a huge kick from midfield is going to put it through the back of ECU's tri-zone, sorry. And we still have a small blockage of our observations, so I can't fully see where the ball ended at, but it seems like the ball is getting brought back to the official towards midfield, so.
I believe they're setting up another scrum.
I wanted to do that. Played a lot of tackling.
It's going to be another scrum, and this is located about 5 yards into ECU territory from the midfield line.
Waiting on them to set up the scrum here.
The official in the middle of the scrum talking to some players. It seems like a formation issue within these scrums have been a big issue, not only for the B team, but also in the beginning of the A team. There's a lot of formation issues.
Yeah, and then you have the A team where you would have the play started and then you would have it brought back because someone moved too early or someone rotated too early or something of that nature. And so when you can't, but the thing is, the B team's not even getting to that point. The B team is just having the trouble setting up, and
Exactly.
so that could be an issue. But I think they're finally set up here, and they're going to start the scrum right now. You see, with the advantage, they'll be the one releasing.
The ball is released. And a huge push from Coastal, but ECU still is going to get the ball. ECU gets the ball and laterals it back, but it's over the head of someone, so it brings them back about 10 yards than it would have been if the lateral was a good pass. And now we have a ruck piling up. It's about 25 yards from ECU's try-zone. Oh, and a huge hole.
Huge hole.
Out of nowhere, an ECU player running got about 20 yards on that run play, and now it's back at midfield, if not about 5 yards into Coastal territory. And ECU just going through. Oh, and a turnover. ECU off a run. It looks like number 2 from Coastal got a big pickup. He stripped the ball out.
Able to flip it out last minute, and they're getting down to close to the ECU's try
About a
zone now.
30-yard run, comes down while falling down, flips it up to a lateral, and pitches it back to his teammate. And now,
Oh, and that's gonna be a turnover, I think.
Coastal
I'll probably see the bar then. Later on.
Coastal does have the ball there. Oh, we're gonna see the official did call a whistle, so we're gonna see what he says. But he's pointing towards Coastal's way, so it seems like Coastal should have the ball. I'm mistaken. It's gonna be ECU ball. The ball is around the 10-yard line. It's about 10 yards from ECU territory. ECU kicks it off, and the Coastal player is gonna catch it and get taken down about. Now the ball's placed about 10 yards from midline, and it's on the on ECU's half.
It's gonna be a line out from ECU here. But this is the most we've seen Coastal in ECU territory the entire half, and it's coming within 5 minutes of halftime, and so that is not a good sign for Coastal's offense. But again, it's the entire. I feel like the entire game has been spent in between within 10 yards of midfield, and I feel like we haven't had a whole lot of true opportunities outside of what we just had with Coastal, and then obviously the one ECU score as well. But I mean, huge play from Coastal to get down near the goal, but not able to capitalize on that, and that could come back to hurt them as we see this lineup from ECU.
And the lineout is tipped and bobbled about 5 times, and then ECU is going to get the ball. But there's an instant whistle from the official.
Yeah, a lot more stop and go from this game than we saw last game. And also, on that line out, Coastal had an opportunity to get the ball, and there's a Coastal player in position, but then all of a sudden the ball hit off the head of an ECU player, and they weren't able to get it. And so that's the struggling part of all of this, is that even if all the things go right and you do everything right, the ball is that football oblong shape, and so it does take random bounces sometimes, and it doesn't bode well sometimes for trying to play where the ball is going to go. But they're going to set up a scrum here, and I believe ECU is going to be releasing. Yeah, ECU's going to have the advantage here. They're going to be releasing.
And the scrum is underway. Maybe the first scrum the official didn't have to fix. And ECU is going to scoop up the ball, and he might be gone. ECU player from the scrum has a huge lane.
He flips it back.
Taken down about 5 yards from the try zone. And there's a coach's whistle. And that's just going to give the ECU a fresh set, and an ECU player absolutely.
He was in. The ref signal, the end line ref signaled in, I believe.
Absolutely rushing through, powering through the Coastal team, and that's going to be another successful try attempt from ECU. We're going to see what the officials say, but that should be.
Yeah, it's a successful try. It's going to be 10-0 ECU over Coastal in this game.
That's going to be.
Yeah, it's going to be 10-0.
It's going to bring us into ECU's second conversion attempt, and I mean, just how quick of a turn of events there. I mean,
yeah, it's Coastal's in position to score there.
They get taken down for a line out. The line out gets thrown in, it gets bobbled around. That is going to end into a scrum between the two teams. ECU wins the scrum, and they win it in a way where the player who got the ball was able to just scoop and go. And he got about 40 yards, and then he had another player with him and lateral passed it to another ECU teammate running right behind him, right to his side, and they were able to bring that down to the 3-yard line, and then they just punched it through.
Yeah, just a poor showing, I guess, from Coastal's line-out team, just because they had the opportunity there and they just didn't capitalize on it. And then you had the big reversal of field earlier from Coastal that had them down about I'd say within 5 yards of the try zone, and they weren't able to capitalize there. So missing opportunities here is the issue for Coastal, and so.
And the trend for the day, another missed conversion attempt.
Yeah, another missed conversion
from a
attempt
team.
From
and
ECU.
I mean, I think we've seen one go through the uprights, and I believe that was the second this game, and I believe there were 4 in the A game.
Four missed in the A game.
So that
had to have been more than that. There was 6 missed in the A game, because Coastal had 4 tries on their own, but they didn't have any conversions.
Yes, you're correct.
So there would have been 6 total missed conversions.
6 total, and then we have 2 in this game. So not a good kicking day. The kickoff comes out, and ECU is going to receive the ball again, and they are about midfield, and there's a ruck pileup, and they are on the far side of the field, so it's hard to see exactly what's going on, but we do hear a official's whistle.
I'm going to be hearing whistles in my nightmares
I know,
tonight.
right? about half a minute left to go before we head into halftime, and we're at midfield, and the last thing Coastal defense can do is give up another point. ECU kicks it off, and it's going to go line drive out of bounds, and this will bring up another line-out opportunity for ECU, about 20 yards from the try line.
Your mouth is blue.
It is. Yeah, that's the side effects of the heat.
So we're gonna see who's throwing this ball in. I believe it's actually
There's an official meeting with multiple players from both teams currently.
the clock is at all zeros. Clock is all zeros, so it's up to the ref at this point to determine the end of the half. I believe it's going to be a ECU line out.
And ECU throws it in. It goes straight to an ECU player's hands, and they're going to start working their offense laterally. And they're getting good yards. They're about 8 yards away from the try zone. And the ball has not been called dead yet, so play is still going. And ECU is just running their offense, trying to get another try attempt in before this half.
Ball's out, Coastal's going
And
to have
the
it.
ball is out. Coastal does scoop it up, but there's a whistle from the ref, and that is going to bring us to halftime.
Yeah, so halftime is here. We are at 10-0, ECU in the lead. Yeah, honestly, just first half notes. I mean, ECU looked dominant pretty much the entire time. Again, there's a lot of time in between the two try conversions for ECU that there was just a lot of midfield, just 5 yards up, 5 yards back, 10 yards up, then you go 15 yards back, and just a lot of in the middle ground type of deal. And so the issue with that is Coastal had maybe one true opportunity in that first half.
I believe it was just one when they got down there, but that ended in, unfortunately, a turnover.
It ends in a turnover, and so Coastal not able to secure points when they can. And then on this end, on the ECU end, all of a sudden you have Coastal defense not able to hold up like the A team did, and so the B team was has given up 2 tries today. And so first half being that you need to limit the turnovers if you're Coastal, but then also take advantage of the opportunities. You had an opportunity to go down and get points, and you end up coming away with nothing. And then that turnover leads to an ECU score. And so again, we were talking about how earlier Coastal in the A team game had a chance for 7 points, and they flipped it and ended up being 7 points the other way.
Yep.
And so we saw the same thing. That there was a 10-point play. It could be 5-5 right now for Coastal, but instead we're looking at a 10-0 game. Mm-hmm. And Coastal A team was able to bounce back in the second half and regroup and come back. We will now see if the B team can do the same thing. Only problem is instead of a 7-point lead or 7-point deficit, it's a 10-point deficit. Mm-hmm. And so we've seen that the conversions after the tries have not been very successful today. Mm-hmm. And so you're going to probably need at least 3 possessions in order to take the lead in this game. And so can the B team do what the A team do and score 15 straight points unanswered?
What's this called?
So it's WCC Radio. We had a team out here doing the women's rugby games, and now we're out here doing the men's.
Is it like local?
Yeah, it's coastal stuff.
It's on YouTube.
Yeah, it's on YouTube.
It's on YouTube as well. WCCU Radio.
Yes,
if
all
you're
over.
driving or something and can't watch the Instagram live,
I'll prop that back
it
up.
is broadcasted by these wonderful gentlemen now.
2 weeks in a row, you're surprised.
And we just had a member from the A team come up and ask us about the recording process and everything. But going along with what Preston was talking about, a slow start to the game for Coastal, and exactly like what Preston just said. I mean, we're going to need them to come out in the second half looking like how the A team did coming out of the second half. They're going to have to play aggressive. The defense is going to have to turn it up a little bit, and the kickoff is underway, so the only way we'll see is by watching. So we're gonna watch and see how it goes down.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, I had to take a brief intermission to fix a few things around the area. Talk to some of the A players, and we will start the second half. And so, yeah, big thing is just limiting the turnovers. Same thing as the first half for the A team. As well as they played in the second half, they did not play very well in the first half. And so, if Coastal's going to come back and win this game, B team's going to do the same thing. B team's going to have to come out and score some points for us and flip the script in the second half.
And just waiting for the official to give the whistle that we're ready to start the second half. And there's the whistle. There's the kick. And the second half is underway. Kickoff is clean, and Coastal is going to receive it. And Coastal close to their own try zone, but still trying to just move it laterally and get it out of that area. ECU all over Coastal currently.
Yeah, they're deep in their own territory and
really just trying to get the ball moving the right way.
But
and we have a whistle. I mean, so far same thing that we've seen. ECU's honestly all over the offense.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah, ECU's just smothering right now. ECU's just able to kind of pin them back, and Coastal's going to kick it deep, but ECU's been able to smother and force Coastal into some pretty tough situations.
Yeah, Coastal having a really tough time getting forward momentum, and unfortunately for ECU, Coastal's kickoff went about 60-something yards and put them in really bad field position. So if Coastal can do a good job at defending here, then they're going to be in really good field position.
Mm-hmm. They're going to have the line out here, and Coastal's going to have an opportunity to kind of create some offense here.
Yo, we need to get back. Go back!
And the officials talking with the sideline.
Dude, just get behind the flag. Not that hard.
And a successful line out for Coastal. And they have a huge lateral pass that brings them all the way back to midfield, maybe past it. So an unfortunate pass for them, but they do keep the possession. And ECU just trying to stop them here.
Yeah, and ECU doesn't have to do too much. I mean, they've got a 10-point lead, and I know there's a lot of time left in this game, but they don't need to be overly aggressive. They don't need to press the issue at all. They just need to hang on to what they have and make Coastal beat them while they're kind of playing kind of more conservative and more hesitant, I guess you could say.
Mm-hmm.
That's all ECU needs to do. If ECU can just close out here, that would be huge for their confidence. And there's a hurt Coastal player not walking off on his own power.
His right leg.
His right leg is not hitting the ground at all. I'm sure he'll be coming over this way.
Looks to be in a lot of discomfort. No pressure on his right leg at all. And
yeah, he looks to be in a good amount of pain.
yeah, visually, you can see that he's in that thing coming over by us. I'm gonna get checked in. We'll keep you guys updated on that.
Back on the field of play, they're going to set up a scrum here.
If I can get back in, I will.
Setting up the scrum. The official is
Taking his
in the middle.
taking his sweet old time.
In the middle, trying to talk through it.
Yeah, tough. I mean, it is always tough when you have to kind of teach while reffing. I mean, I get it. Rugby is not a sport that you see every single day, and so it'd be like any other sport that you're new to. But but yeah, you got to set it up right, and you got to redo if need be. But I think ECU's going to have the release here, and so they're going to have a little bit of an advantage.
Release is good. No call from the official, and ECU does gain position and quickly kicks it downfield. But there's a Coastal player there to receive the kick, and Coastal is giving out possession.
Yeah, and so kind of making their way now, and they've got a lane. Oh, he's got a lane down the sideline.
Coastal player going all the way, and that could be a successful.
Yeah, it is. What a play by number 4 for Coastal. Flying down the sideline.
Really celebrated and went all the way.
Got out of the scrum and was able to reverse field and just and quick. Probably down from midfield to the try zone in maybe 4 seconds, maybe 5 seconds. Great play there by number 11. We unfortunately don't have the roster, but yeah, number 11 there, big play, and was able to get the score.
And I apologize, I missed that. I was actually looking at the clock so I could match it up because of the injury timeout, but they still have not resumed the clock. So hoping soon to get the correct time.
Yeah, they're rolling it now, but I feel as though we are not getting that time back. But yeah, anyway, so yeah, Coastal's going to have a conversion.
If you need to change it, I have the correct time on this. If you need to change it, I have the correct time on this. It's just after 25, so I do like 24:30.
Yeah, just. Oh, what about this one? Yeah, the conversion attempt was no good, but that's the much needed score that Coastal needed there. Now only down by one score. And if they can get the conversion, that'd be great. But now they're going to kick it off, and Coastal's going to have the ball again off the kickoff. EC with the muffed catch there. Coastal's going to have the ball here on the possession off the ruck.
And still tackled down. The clock here on our side just for a second, so the people running the scoreboard here can get the time correct, and then I will start it when it is at the correct time. I apologize for that.
Yeah, they had an injury timeout and then didn't resume the clock. But ECU's got the ball down close to the try zone. Stop play here.
ECU making a push for it. They're within the 10-yard line. Coastal's try zone. Still trying to just powerhouse through.
And a turnover.
But
stop play.
We see an official whistle, but we did see his hand go out pointing towards Coastal's way, so it should still be Coastal's ball. Got the clock fixed here.
As long as I get a heads up before Monday,
ECU's going to retain possession here. They're going to try to get a score. Coastal holding them down close to the line, pushing forward.
And it looks like they're within the 5-yard line now, maybe even on the goal line. And that is going to be a successful try attempt for the East Carolina University.
hope you have a great time tonight.
No, they. Yeah. It's the signal.
It's going to be, again, a 10-point lead for the East Carolina team, and I believe we should have a 2-point conversion coming out here soon. They've missed 2 today, so we will be seeing about this third one. And we have just about 24 minutes left of play time in the second half.
Still have not updated the score on the scoreboard that's over here next to us, so I wonder if that will be changed.
So the conversion is up, and
Good.
it is going to be the first conversion of this B team that goes through. So that is going to be +2 for the away team.
17-5. Yeah, so Coastal's dug themselves into a bigger hole now, 17-5, and
Unfortunately, going to be a 3-possession
yeah,
game
with how the conversions,
with successful conversions.
yeah, with how the conversions have been going, it's not looking too good for Coastal to be able to get back in this game in 2 possessions.
But there is a lot of time left.
Yeah, a lot of
It's
time
still
left.
22 minutes, so
Still got plenty of time to score, but you're going to need at least probably 3, or no, yeah, probably two more, just to get within striking distance, because two more would put them at 15, so without the conversion.
the kickoff is good, and ECU is going to receive it. And ECU with a nice little 20-yard gain off the kickoff, taking down that ruck. And they're going to work their offense right around midfield. Nice little chunk play by ECU. It's going to gain them about 10 yards. They're about 3 yards past midline. And another 10 to 12 yard chunk play from ECU.
Now we're seeing ECU's offense kind of take over this game, and they're starting to move the ball a lot more.
Another nice play, and ECU looks like they could be gone, but it is
Gonna get
called
called back,
dead and
yeah.
called back by the official, which if you're an ECU fan is upsetting because they just had a nice chunk play, which actually would have, if it didn't get called back, would have ended in a successful try attempt. But
Yeah, it would have been a huge try attempt there from Coastal or from ECU, but instead we sit about 15 yards from the try zone of Coastal, and they're going to set up a scrum here.
For you, Scott, I have to get a picture.
and we're just waiting for the official to be happy with the scrum formation.
Be happy with the formation, yeah.
It's about 20 minutes left of play time.
Yeah, still sitting. The ref is not easily pleased with the scrum formation, and they're finally going to get down into formation here for the scrum. Coastal will have the advantage here of releasing.
And the ball is released, but the official blows a whistle. And then again,
And resets it.
it's not the formation. I think about 10% of this game's clock time, maybe even more, has been spent on
At least 10%.
scrum formation, but I guess we'll keep an eye on it. They're setting it up again. The official really just walking around the formation and making sure everything looks good. Seems like this one's good. And this one is good, and Coastal is going to win this one. And Coastal, about 10 yards from midline, is going to get taken down in a ruck, and there is a official. Coastal just had a nice little 8-yard run. They're now a little bit past midfield, and Coastal's going to work their offense out.
And slung down. Just what a tackle from ECU. Still about a little past midfield in ECU territory, or in Coastal territory, excuse me.
And another whistle from the official.
Because he's going to kick it deep, heads up around the area.
That's going to be a line out for Coastal about a little bit midline. And with only 17 minutes to go, 17 and a half minutes to go, sorry, Coastal's definitely going to be looking to score quick here.
Coastal needs to press the issue here. Coastal needs to get a little aggressive, swing quickly. You can't sit on the score because that will not end well for you. So you gotta press the issue, get a little bit more aggressive, and maybe try to get the ball into the hands of probably your better players, and as in an open space, maybe have them break a tackle or so. It's a little harder to do in rugby than it is in football, but you still have to do that.
Yes.
But on the line out, the ECU is going to have the ball, and they're going to take the ball in offense.
And the receiver from that line out just got a big 15 to 20 yard play, and ECU's offense is still running down the field. And honestly, throughout this first about 3/4 of the game, ECU's offense just looks crispier. They just look more systematic. But
There comes Coastal.
as I say it, Coastal huge turnover and just returned the ball for about a 45-yard run, and now is about 20 yards from ECU's try zone. And a official whistle will stop play here, and the official will place the ball where he likes it. Coastal's about 10 to 12 yards away from ECU's try zone, and with the score of 5-17, CCU definitely needs to get in here.
Yeah, CCU needs to score, and probably score rather quickly. And if they don't, that would be a bigger issue because they have had plenty of opportunities to score in the second half, and they have not taken them, and so they need to retain possession here, and they need to be able to score. Ref is talking to a few ECU players. I don't know quite what about.
What's the score? They're up like
I think a penalty was assessed to him. So they're playing with a man down, maybe?
I believe that's correct. They just had a conversation, the official did, with the player, and now he's out. Unfortunately, they're on the complete opposite side of the field, and we couldn't hear anything that they were saying, but Coastal did not make any forward progress during that first play, but they still have possession, and they're coming down the field now.
side set up with coastal possession.
Fucking Berkeley.
And put back about 18 yards from the try zone here, and obviously clock ticking, no stoppage. So for looks to winning this game, they definitely need to score. I would say within the next 4 minutes before we're in the final 10 of the game.
Yeah, with how this game has been going, I have a feeling that they probably need to score in the next 2 minutes, just because they haven't been able to get quick drives. They've had to have a little bit more sustained things, and so now it's got to be, you have to score quickly because you know you're not going to score quick the rest of the game. The ref is now still talking to both CCU and now a couple ECU players. Maybe a tackle around the neck. Yeah, that is
what the official is going to call it, and official is going to kick it.
Ball goes over our heads.
Ball goes directly over us and out of bounds, right in front of our
Little station.
table
Yeah,
station.
station.
All forward in. Out, you're in. Oh, he's got to go this way.
Line out right in front of us.
Yeah. Go to either sideline. Don't go back. All right. They ball and don't touch. You got to run with it.
Great catch from Coastal and
Yes, Alex! Get there!
And CC's moving the ball, and they're pushing it. They're about 10 yards from the line. They're just going to try and work their offense. The ball comes loose. It's out of bounds. But I believe it's out of bounds on. I'm going to listen because the officials are in front of us.
Hold on.
Guys, our line out. It was a strip. I got you. Right again.
Coastal's ball. And they are within 7 yards from the try zone, and it's still above that 10-minute mark where if they can score here, they might have a chance at coming back in this game. So they really need to put everything into this next goal.
yeah, absolutely. Wanting to see.
That's going to be a line out.
Yeah, it's going to line up. Yeah, that's the right play. Get it to the far side and try to get some space on the outside, and that's exactly what you want to do.
That's a great play from Coastal, and they're about 3 yards out, and now they're just they're just got to hope to not turn the ball over and run their offense, and they're going to just try and powerhouse it in.
A couple of rucks here.
Ooh, ECU all over that one.
Yeah, pushing all the way back. Ruck gets out, and Coast is going to throw it all the way back close to midfield.
And there's a whistle from the official. Great defense from
Yeah,
ECU
ECU just
there.
has a great defense there. Not much you can do about that. Coast is going to have it back. About 12 yards from the try zone.
Keep going, get the space.
And CCU just
Got a gap.
trying to catch a gap, and I'm not sure what just happened.
So close to the end zone, but it ended up being a ECU recovered in the try zone. That's going to be their ball.
Wow.
Yeah, stripped.
That's
at,
heartbreaking.
Yeah,
Stripped like at the 1 yard line.
Yeah, close to the goal. Close to the goal.
Let's go, baby! Let's go! Yeah, I know.
It's gonna be a scrum at about the 7 yard line or so.
And I believe it's going to be ECU who has the advantage here. So
9 minutes left. see if Coastal can force the issue here and try to get something at the end of this game. Takes it almost
Pretty much straight up, and Coastal is going to receive it. And now Coastal's just going to work their offense and try to get back closer. And we are about 9 minutes left in the game. Some banter between players. And that player that we talked about who got put over to the side is still out of the game. Just waiting outside the end zone. Still not fully sure about what happened with that, but
yeah, ECU bringing the ball back into play. It's kicked out of the back of the try zone by an ECU player, and so waiting on ball back into play.
Guys, it can go anywhere. It can go anywhere.
still really efficient. Hold the ball live.
Jump a couple people back. John, jump back.
And there's the kick.
And it kicks up, and Coastal's going to catch it, and he's going to get some good yardage out of that. And we're still, Coastal's been fighting within the 15-yard line for the past 10 minutes now, and
Nothing showing for it. A ruck there for Coastal, and Coastal is going to get the ball out. And there, and somehow ECU gets the ball out of that off a turnover.
yeah, ECU gets a turnover, and they're going to try and run their offense down the field. But with only 7 minutes remaining, they're probably just going to play some passive because they're up 2 possessions. Coastal a third possession to take the lead. And a big break
down the
line.
line.
He's going to get like 30 yards, 40 yards near. Now they're in Coastal territory again.
Yeah, Coastal's going to need a lot to happen here in the last 6 minutes in order to get this ball back and then in order to win. And ECU driving is not one of those things, and that's what we're doing right now. ECU's going to reverse the ball here, and they're going to go to the far side of the field now. I know it's going to be a ruck here for ECU, and the Pirates are going to reverse field, and just reverse field, ruck, reverse field, and then get a couple yards, and then a ruck. It's just, when you're trying to play conservative and you're trying to just hold on to a lead, that's exactly what you want to do, and that's what ECU is doing right now. Is we're going to have our injured Pirate on the field.
Stop clock, depending on how long the game goes for, but the scoreboard has not stopped the clock yet, so we will continue running ours.
Yeah.
But the player is no longer on the ground.
Back up.
Back up.
I think he's walking on his own power.
And it's hard to tell which one got hurt because no one's coming off the field. He's going to stay out there and play. So.
And they're all wearing bright yellow jerseys, so there's no...
It's hard to distinguish.
Yeah.
It looks fine. So... Thankful no one was too hurt at first. He was flat down on the ground, not getting up, so happy to see that he's not.
And then we're going to see a scrum here from, I believe, with ECU possession.
So little under 5 minutes left. And there's going to be a scrum about 20-25 yards from Coastal's try zone. ECU does have the advantage as being the releaser, and ECU does get possession of the ball. And they're going to run their offense here. A nice gain from one of the ball carriers from ECU, gaining about 10 yards on the play. And now ECU seems to be going through the motions of their offense. And with only 4 minutes left and you're up two possessions, technically 3 because it would take 3 to win it, you just got to play passive. I think that's what they're doing. Coastal does get the ball here, and Coastal going to kick it forward.
It's going to take a backwards bounce right into a Coastal player's
Going to
hands.
be able to get it. And official calling. And I believe it's going to be a penalty on an ECU player because of they grab someone above the shoulders, which you cannot do.
Yeah, now with 2 minutes 40 seconds, now it's going to be one of those things where what can Coastal do? Just kind of like for next game, what can they work on? What can they do? You're not worried about winning the game anymore at this point. It's kind of out of reach at this point, but you still want to go out there, fight for some pride, and go win the game.
Yeah, not a single player on the field looks like they've given up, or
Right.
not a single player on the field looks like they know that they lost and they've slowed down. They're still playing with 100% intensity, which I love to see.
Yeah, you like to see no matter what it is. You like to see the effort put into every game, and whether it's win or lose.
Mm-hmm.
As the kick is up,
And I think our 10's about to get hit.
nope, just missed us.
And that kick is going to be out of bounds. And it's going to be a line out for Coastal.
We'll line out for Coastal. Yeah, right now it's more about just getting a score for your sake and for next game and confidence going into the next game, knowing that you can put up points and you can score and you can put up a fight. Mm-hmm. At this point, I don't believe in moral victories, but this is the time for a moral victory. You want to go out and score and then go do
Successful line out for Coastal,
right,
by the way.
Right. Tackle his own player. There's that.
Bro, hit the leg.
Yeah, they keep wrapping around the neck area. Mm-hmm. That's not going to do. It gives a yellow.
He gets a yellow card.
Oh, go to that. Hold it, good time.
So he's out for a few plays.
I think there's 15 for the rest of the game. There's only 45 seconds left.
Exactly. And another stoppage from the official.
They do love tackling around the neck.
And
and there's another one.
Another yellow card. Ernie Super.
So now at this point it's just. At what point does ECU just going to have no players to play after
Kick up, and ECU is going to get it. And ECU is still moving. And, if he has the speed here, he can get this. He doesn't go. It's a huge tackle from the Coastal player. Huge tackle. And we have coaches from Coastal and players and coaches from ECU standing right next to each other, just going at it, bantering with each other. And Coastal gets the ball back here. Coastal running at midfield, and the clock on the scoreboard here is at 00, so we are just waiting for for the official to call the game dead. That is going to be game for the men's rugby B team, and that's gonna be it for us.
Yeah. Well, it was a good first call. I liked calling rugby. It wasn't was something new for us, and
Yeah.
so I enjoyed it. But yeah, B team didn't go the way we wanted, but I'm glad A team got the victory today, and yeah, I look forward to doing it again sometime.
Yeah, no, it was a good time. It's an awesome new sport that I get to say that I learned a lot about, and I love the team, love the players. Everyone played hard. I know coming in, hearing players talk, and talking even with some players who came into our booth, they were definitely the underdogs. A team I'm talking about, they were definitely the underdogs today against East Carolina, and some had some discouragements, and they came out on top. And
Yeah.
it was an awesome
It was-
first
yeah,
awesome
first-
first
yeah.
rugby game to be able to call for your first time.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
we appreciate all you guys tuning in, and yeah, have a